What is up, guys? YodaDaWise here. Right now, this has been a very popular topic in my guild's Discord channel. Everyone's been trying to really figure out how does Sister Wolf's Quickdraw skill work. So I took some time today, and I said, I haven't made a video in a little bit. I'm gonna make one about this. Let's try to dive down deep into it because the descriptions are always cryptic, and unfortunately the video that was produced by Ark of War itself on YouTube just didn't really tell you how, or you couldn't get a really good understanding, in my opinion, how the skill worked. So we're going to dive into that. The other thing is you're going to see is a lot of the simulations that I ran were against King. This is going to show you how if you're not able to make it to tier 12 right now, and at least to get to tier 11, Eye of Greed, how deadly King is with Wings of Eternity. See what happens. We've already seen it with like Nico, for example, to where Ark of War has nerfed commanders because they become overpowered in such a way. Now, if they could just nerf certain other commanders, that would be great. Let's take a look. So we're here to kind of dissect what Quickdraw is, because with anything that comes from Ark of War, it's very cryptic. It doesn't really give us an understanding of what the skill is. And just by reading it, you're dealing damage to the target directly. The amount of damage is equal to 1% of the lost HP of the target. It is certain to hit, and it doesn't get affected by damage reduction. So any of the gears that provide damage reduction, it ignores that. Very cryptic. All right, what does that mean? If you go into the Ark of War, page on YouTube, and they give you their little trailer of this commander, they make it sound like it's an effect stat that comes afterwards. And when you watch the replays, the first hit is always 0. The second hit hits. All right. Now, both of her skills, she's going to hit. She's basically 100% accuracy commander. You don't need it. With that being said, you don't need any accuracy on her. You don't need anything to do with accuracy there. It needs to be 100% damage. Any kind of attack damage, penetration, that's what you're going for with Sister. So let's look at some replays and you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. All right, so when I was doing these simulations, the goal was not to win. The goal was to get an understanding of Quickdraw and how does it work. So right here, as you see, like I do have a higher gear than Arcadia. All right, he's got a pen set going on. I got an more attack damage going on here with some HP and defense. As you see, he still won. And this kind of goes to show on how King has become so relevant now, that if you're only able to at least, if you're at least able to get to Eye of Greed, which is tier 11 infantry, and if you have King, this is an investment for you. Put Wings of Eternity on him, he's deadly. All right, to people who have the higher tiers in tier 12. I did some simulations with the Contract Keeper, which is the near tier 12.5, for a lack of a better tier 12 explanation, so 12.5, to where they seem to have done the best in all these simulations for her. But let's go through the replay and you'll kind of have a better idea of what I'm talking about when it comes to how Quickdraw works. So right here, I believe he chews through my first slot. This is why, like I said, King is such a investment at this point for individuals who may not be able to get the T12 right now. So he chews through it. Quickdraw does 0, Deep Impact does some damage, and I'm going to slow it down just so we can kind of talk about this for a moment. So because Walker Awakening occurred, now I have damage on slot 3 right here and slot 1. So now when my slot goes, Quickdraw is going to do damage here. So about 37 million. Now we got Deep Impact, which is going to just wipe it off from there. And then I'm going to do damage on the 5th slot. I'm going to hopefully speed through this one, because that Wings of Eternity just makes these go so much longer too. And I think he chews through that one too. Okay, so going back here again. So we got Quick Draw, 0 damage because I haven't done damage to the 5th slot yet. But Deep Impact hit hard enough for it to destroy all of them. Just going to speed through this again. He wipes out that slot, I believe. Alright, so Quick Draw goes. Boom. I've done damage to it already. Now you can see what I'm saying here. And he ends up winning because I didn't have a 1st and 4th slot anymore. What this describes is, 1, King is beast mode right now. 2, that Quick Draw is only going to work when damage is done to the slot. If damage isn't done to the slot, then Quick Draw isn't going to do anything, regardless of how many times it hits it. But what makes it nice is, like I said earlier, she doesn't need accuracy gear because it doesn't. 1, the accuracy gear is going to do nothing for Quick Draw because of what it needs to work. Secondly, Deep Impact is 100% trigger as well, and it's always going to hit. So you have always going to hit calm. Doesn't need accuracy. What you need is survivability and just attack damage up the yin yang. Then I started wondering, okay, so what's a better build for her? All right, so I kind of went with the attack here. I went up against Crack Chicken, who is our guild leader, just because his gear is higher. He has a penetration build here, which I believe he's at 100% penetration. As you see, I didn't do as well against him as I did Arcadia. So then I said, okay, why don't we look at what the penetration gear is going to do? I'm only at about 75% penetration, so it doesn't hit as hard. And as you can see right here, because I'm not at that 100% yet, or at least I think it's 98% for it to be devastating, I didn't do so well. At this point in the game, having the 2 Titans on her, and probably if I had Devastation Helmet on her as well to just add a little more attack, the number down in that first replay probably would have been a lot better. So I would say for her, unless you're able to get to 100% penetration, it's probably best to go not old school, but older school in terms of new gear with the Titans. All right, the Titans are probably going to do better. Same with Crack. You know, I didn't do all that. I did a little better with his. It looks like that may have just been, you know, the crit going off a little better. But all in all, it looked like the 2 Titans was the better way to go. Once again, compared to about 17,000 Eye of Greed. The next thing I did was to try and see what tier 12 was going to be best with her. So I kind of did a combination of the Time Walker and the Void Stalker. The problem is if you're up against a king, regardless of the gear sizes, as long as it's a large enough king and has enough leadership on him, he's going to hurt. He chewed through the Time Walker because with the Time Walker, the secondary skill that it has to heal 30% of troops lost, it doesn't trigger when Mind's Eye hits it. And we can kind of see that really quick here. All right, so this one right here. So he's going to have his Mind's Eye trigger because that's 100% trigger. Misses. Hits again with Mind's Eye. Nearly wipes it out. As you saw, the Timekeeper did not heal itself. Why? It's just one of those kind of skills that ignores healing skills like that. You'd probably see that too in Vega's replenishing skill, as well as Elf's replenishing skill. The only reason why these ones were a little bit higher was because of the Void Stalker's tear space. If it wasn't for the tear space, it wouldn't have done as much damage. So, in my opinion, the best T12 T12 troops for Sister Wolf is going to be Void Stalker or the Contract Keeper. And I called it a Time Keeper earlier, but it's a Time Walker. The Time Walkers, I just don't feel like are the best fit for her if you come against a king like this. Alright, so I hope you have a better understanding of how Quickdraw works and how depending on your gear set, that attack gear is probably going to be more beneficial for an individual who doesn't have the ability to get to 100% penetration with her. I strongly believe that Void Stalker is going to, or Contract Keeper, if you're able to get to it, are going to be the better two troops for her. It's more so because if King comes into play. Time Walker is going to be a good fit for her as well against any other commander, but when it comes to directly going against the king, I'd say like Void Stalker or the Contract Keeper is going to be the better way to go. You don't have to, once again, you don't have to worry about accuracy. She's 100% hit comm no matter what, as long as she survives. And you know, she's a good commander if you're able to invest into her. And on the other side of that too, if you're able to dump leadership into king, you can become a really hard hitter without ever hitting tier 12. And as of late, you know, they've been making it, in my opinion, a lot easier for individuals to get to tier 11 at the very least, a lot easier than it was about a year or 2 years ago. So I hope this helped. Leave a comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Hopefully we'll have another video out here soon. Till then.